Come here for 1 sec. I just want you to smell something. All right, I'm gonna let her smell it and try it. Tell me what you think. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you clicking on that video as always. And we are back with another weekly wears video where I go over every fragrance that I wore all 7 days last week. So if that's content that you think you want to see more of, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. But without further ado, let's jump right into the list, starting with Sunday. So on Sunday, there wasn't much doing around the house. We were just home with the kids, and I worked out early in the morning, took a shower, and this next scent I consider a really fantastic out of the shower scent, and usually can be found for less than $20. The scent I'm talking about is Perry Ellis Elite. Perry Ellis Portfolio Elite, to be exact. And fantastic, underrated cheapie, in my opinion. Grassy, clean, and green smelling, synthetic. Make no mistake about it, very synthetic, but it's just really likable. It definitely gives off vibes of like shaving foam, and I think that's why people compare this to Chanel's Platinum Egoiste. This is not as natural smelling as Chanel's Platinum Egoiste, but nonetheless, you're paying less than $20 to get something close to that scent, and this does that. Very aromatic, slightly sweet, very metallic, literally like you are spraying the foam from the shaving cream can. I think that's why I associate this one so much with the shower and being clean. Also an underrated compliment getter. I've been complimented on this one multiple times after wearing it or while wearing it, and I'm always surprised by it because it's not something that I necessarily pick up off myself. I think it's just a really familiar scent to many people, and about average longevity, but not one that I'm afraid to overspray. You can go heavy on this one. Super cheap, really likable. Perry Ellis Portfolio Elite. On Monday, I went with a fragrance that from this particular line goes back and forth with this being my favorite in the line. This week, it was this one. Scent I am talking about is John Varvatos Vintage. Now, my wife is a big fan of this one. She loves this one, but she also likes the OG as well. Very classic masculine feeling scent, but really updated with rhubarb and quince. And look, I don't know what a quince smells like, but if it's fruity, then that's what I get off of the top of this. Perfect signature all around type of wear in the cooler months. I think this is going to be ideal. Not that you can't wear this in the warmer months, but I think this shines in the cooler months for sure. Again, another average performer, average longevity. However, I tend to overspray John Varvatos fragrances because they all sort of suffer that same fate, which is they're not very long lasting, but they're fantastic smelling. So I'm not afraid to overspray, go heavy on my clothes. Just try to get a little more performance from that. Fantastic scent for the price, and just in general, I would pay more for this, to be quite honest. John Varvatos Vintage. So this next one was a recent pickup recommended by you guys. I just did a video on it last week, so if you have not checked out that video, please do. I get a little more in depth with what I get from my first impressions on this fragrance. But the scent I am talking about is, and I apologize for the pronunciation again, this is a Middle Eastern fragrance, Majed Al Sultan from Majdal. When I first opened this, I was really impressed with the bottle. Not crazy about the color of the felt. It's kind of that poop brown felt, but the smell, good atomizer. Wow. Okay, man, in the air, smoky. It's slightly boozy, amber, vanilla. Just a wonderful scent. This is not very sweet at all. Stay tuned to the end of this video. I'm gonna give you the perfect fragrance to layer this with. And I actually mentioned that in the video that I did on this fragrance, that I sort of envision this being layered with things. You have to like incense, you have to like resinous scents, smoky, darker fragrances to like this one. But again, I think it works perfectly with this other fragrance that I will tell you at the end of the video as a little bonus. Very lovely scent, lasts all day, great performance. About 8 hours or so. Majed Al Sultan from Majdal. So on Wednesday, I went with a fragrance that I just recently picked up in my most recent rack store haul. So again, if you haven't checked out that video, I will be sure to link it here. I was a little disappointed in this fragrance, and I'll explain why. Scent I'm talking about is Calvin Klein's Defy Eau de Parfum. At the start of the scent, it can smell borderline unique, especially for a Calvin Klein fragrance. And there's nothing to really dislike about this scent. Really fruity sweet up top when you first spray this, but then the leather starts to come through. That's sort of was surprise number one to me. I did not realize that this was a leather forward fragrance, especially on skin. Less so in the air, I don't pick up as much leather, but on strip and on skin, I pick up a lot of leather. However, as this begins to dry down, I just find this becoming more and more average, and not that it's necessarily a bad thing, just I was hoping for more from this fragrance. But again, an eau de parfum concentration, it really didn't perform like a monster or anything. It didn't last that long on my skin, so I maybe got 5 or 6 hours from it. Orange, pepper, and leather. That's pretty much what I get from this. It's not a complex scent. It's pretty basic, and it reminds me of other things, but the leather, I think, adds a little twist. So is this a bad scent? I don't think so. It's not a bad scent. I think it smells really nice, just not something that I would be willing to typically spend $40 on. So it's definitely not a run out and go grab it right now. Not a bad scent overall, but again, not a must-have. Calvin Klein's Defy Eau de Parfum. And then again on Thursday, I went with another fragrance that I picked up in my most recent rack store haul. Again, another disappointment. This one was a little hyped for me. The scent I'm talking about is Dunhill Custom. Now this one, I really enjoy the smell. And I think in that video where I picked both of these up, I was leaning towards the Dunhill Custom. And that hasn't changed. It's more my style of fragrance, but interestingly enough, on my skin, going into the 1 hour mark, for whatever reason, this just started smelling a little more synthetic, a little more cheap smelling to me. Synthetic and cheap they do not go hand in hand necessarily. I don't associate something being synthetic with cheap. There are synthetic smelling fragrances that are awesome. Hermes H24, for example, very synthetic smelling to me. I don't pick up a lot of naturals other than the citrus up top, but this one just, it starts to smell cheap to me. I like the opening. I wish number one, it doesn't last. It does not last on my skin, and you guys know I own fragrances that aren't monsters that maybe last 4 or 5 hours, but the smell is so damn good that I'm willing to put up with that. With this, the best parts of it don't last and they don't stick around very long. 20 minutes, 30 minutes is the best of this fragrance, in my opinion. The dry down's not terrible, it's barely there. And that's the problem I have with this mainly. So again, not another must buy. If you see it out in the rack store, you can try it, but there are better options. For example, I would definitely pick up something like a Juicy Couture Dirty English over this one. And I quite like that fragrance. I own it. And they're similar. They have sort of a similar feel and scent profile. So yeah, Dunhill Custom, not the best, little disappointed. So on Friday, I had some errands to run. I was out and about pretty much all day, and I just wanted something that smelled great, easy dumb reach for me in the cooler weather. And we actually had some rain that day. This one works perfectly. Scent I am talking about is Prada Lunarosa Black. If you guys haven't gotten your nose on this, you need to. The first time I tried this, I didn't like it. And I've talked about that on the channel before. Not sure why. I think it was a bit hyped for me, and that first sniff didn't quite live up to the hype. But I was able to get it for a fantastic deal on a bottle, and I grabbed it and started wearing it and began to fall in love with this one. So much so, I wore it when my second daughter was born. So I have that scent memory attached to this fragrance. It means a lot to me. Powdery, ambery, slightly sweet, really classy, masculine, and just effortless. Fantastic in cooler weather. It gives off these cozy vibes like you're just lounging on the couch, hoodie on, just watching football on a Sunday, or you can wear this to date night, dressed to the nines, finest restaurant in the city. This is gonna work. So it has a lot of versatility in that way. The only thing I would say is that it works best in the cooler months Really fantastic longevity, usually only the first hour or so. It projects really well. Then it becomes a little closer to the skin, but this thing does everything right. I have really no real criticism of Prada Lunarosa Black. So finally on Saturday, I went with a fragrance that I would definitely consider the most hyped summer cheapie of 2021. I can see why. It smells like other high-end designer fragrances that get a ton of hype on their own and cost a crap load of money. So this is a cheaper option of that. And it smells great. Scent I'm talking about is Armani Wave. Now, this scent has been all over the map. Smells great in the air. This at one point was $31. Then maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, it jumped to $60, doubled in price. I saw it recently as low as $20 on like double markdown. And at one point I posted on my community tab that on the very same shelf, there was a 100 ml bottle for $60 and 100 ml for $31. Very confusing pricing. These were popping up at TJ Maxx, Marshalls. Mainly, I didn't see these in Burlington at all. So what do I get from the scent? It is Versace Pour Homme. It's a mix of Versace Pour Homme. Not as floral, not as bright, not as uplifting. This is more subtle. It doesn't project as much. However, what I like about this one is it has a more of a creamy vanillic touch to it. It's more of an orange citrus up top than the sort of brighter lemony lime citrus I get from Versace Pour Homme. It also doesn't have the metallic nature of Versace Pour Homme. So I love Versace Pour Homme. I would probably own both. You know, this wouldn't be a replacement for me to Versace Pour Homme. It also gets compared to Chanel Allure Homme Sport. I get hints of that as well. The Chanel has a little bit more of a vanillic touch to it, a little sweeter, but the Chanel is much more rounded, much less synthetic smelling. This smells really synthetic in a good way. As I was saying earlier in the video, synthetic can be good, and this is the type of synthetic that is good. Again, fresh aquatics, airy florals, really easy to wear, you could drown yourself in this stuff in the summertime. It's gonna smell fantastic. You're gonna leave a nice trail. Average longevity, 5 or 6 hours on my skin. In the warmer months, that's probably gonna last longer. Nonetheless, you can wear it heavy. Don't have to worry about necessarily overspraying this one. This one is worthy to belong in many collections. Armani Wave. So really quickly, guys, earlier in the video, I told you I wanted to tell you what I think would layer perfectly, what I know already layers perfectly with Majed Al Sultan from Majdal. And that fragrance is none other than Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Now, this is a tester bottle I just picked up, and I had this fragrance for quite a long time, and I ended up trading it for something else. My wife hates this fragrance. She thinks it smells like vanilla frosting. You know what? I'm going to try something. I'm going to try this on my hand really quickly and have her smell it and see what she thinks. So what I would do, because this is the heavier fragrance, I'm going to go with Majed Al Sultan as the base layer. Smells great. And I'm gonna go with Club Black as my top layer. I don't do a lot of layering, so this is new to me. So let me see what she thinks. Come here for 1 sec. I just want you to smell something. All right, I'm gonna let her smell it and try it. Tell me what you think of that. She doesn't like it. I can already tell. Too vanilla.
Yeah.
You liked this one on its own the other day. That's like the smoky one. Yeah, I layered it with this one, which you hated at one point because you said it had too much vanilla in it and it was too sweet. You said it smelled like vanilla frosting. So I'm layering them. Yeah, she doesn't like Club Black at all. So that's it. Thank you. Yeah, so there you go. She, again, hates Club Black, but I like this one so much. I needed it in the collection. I wanted to have it. So I'll just be cautious about wearing it around her. But there's something that she just does not like about that fragrance. But guys, I implore you, try these. Try these mixed together. This is much more vanilla sweet, and this is the smoky, resinous, ambery balance to this. So this has some of the same qualities as this, but this is much smokier, much less sweet. So if you want to add a little more smoke and incense to Club Black, give this one a try. As always, guys, let me know in the comment section below what your weekly rotation looked like last week. What fragrances did you wear? Did you wear 1? Did you wear 10? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like what you saw today, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, hit that bell notification so you are updated whenever I upload new content. But until then, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video.